Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda, where we bring you the best of the best beat interviews or podcast. Now on today's episode, we have been welcomed by Dr. Debbie and Dr. Reggie into the lovely and big home. Now, Dr. Debbie and Dr. Reggie are teachers and preachers. They work with across the nation ministries. They do missionary work, build schools all over Africa, and contribute to the society positively. Now, Dr. Debbie and Dr. Reggie are also on the tourism board as executive directors. Let's get to it.
We are Reginald and Deborah Freeman.
Okay.
We are part of Across the Nations International Ministries. We're missionaries.
Wow.
We come to Uganda because the Lord has sent us.
That's so nice. That's so good. So for our viewers wondering, so you're African Americans who are in Uganda.
Yes.
Yeah, and now they're wondering, you've mentioned the missionary stuff, but what are you doing in Uganda? Let's break it down for them in case, they didn't get it.
We learned a long time ago in talking to our brothers and sisters that we no longer use the term African American.
Oh,
no, you're fine. What you're saying is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But we're Americans of African descent.
okay.
For so many years in the U.S., a lot of people who are non-brown have classified us and told us that we're this. We're colored Americans. We're Negro Americans. Why should we be labeled? We are Americans, but we are Americans of African descent, just like we have Americans of English descent, Americans of India descent, Americans of French descent, but we are proud Americans of African descent. And we're both doctors working with the missionary work, but being here in Uganda has been a blessing because we've been coming to Africa, the continent itself, for 21 years.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, the last 7 years we started, apparently the Lord said, stay in Uganda.
Wow.
2013, we've been here ever since doing the work. And a lot of that is part of this name that you see on our shirt.
Yeah. I think they can zoom into that.
That's real important for us.
Yes.
Because in researching, I should say my husband's research, he has actually found out the true, correct, beautiful names for this continent, as well as like we talk about Lake Victoria and other places. We have so many non-brown people thinking that they have the right to come into this country or any other country on this continent and change things to their liking.
Yeah.
It should never be to their liking, because if God wanted to be that way, he would have done it that way. Just like I'm part of First Nations in the U.S.
Yeah.
You call us Red Indians. We are not Red Indians because we don't even celebrate Columbus. Columbus didn't discover anything. He came to a continent. The only thing he discovered was that he was lost. He was looking for India.
Yes.
He was looking for India and got lost.
Yes.
So that's one of the things we're just trying to bring truth and information to our brothers and sisters here, and that's part of it. And this is part of that.
Yeah. In case
I'm gonna give that to him.
yeah. Let's get into the name of the shirt, in case I think they zoomed in. It's Alek Bulan.
Alkebulan.
Alek Bulan, and that's the true name of Africa. Africa is, as a continent, that's not the real name. So can we get into that before we go any further?
Alkebulan.
Yeah.
The indigenous name of this continent. And when the Romans basically came and conquered little parts of northern Africa, they renamed it for their own I guess history books.
Yeah.
And they did the things that they did. Just like, Lake Victoria, Nalubale, is
Nalubale, yes,
is the actual name of Lake Victoria. But, people have renamed parts of the continent to suit themselves or to lay claim to lands that actually don't belong to them.
Yeah.
Alkebulan, in essence, means Garden of Eden.
Wow.
Or mother of mankind. So when you look back at history, or biblical history to be exact, you think about when the Creator started putting together this wonderful place that we call Earth. Where did it all begin?
Yeah.
Our first beginnings, as far as people were concerned, people weren't walking across California, Florida, Brazil,
UK,
the UK,
Asia.
They weren't walking across there. They were walking across this continent.
Israel.
Yeah. Yes. So we understand, and looking at things is where the world actually began. You look at the maps that are there. they're disproportionate as far as size is concerned. Alkebulan is the largest landmass in the world.
Wow.
But it's not depicted that way.
Yeah.
Don't get excited about USA because USA can go into this continent not once, not two times, but 3 times. You Google it, since everybody wants to Google these days. As soon as
Get the facts.
there you go, Google, and you will see a picture of this axe. How many times can the U.S. go into and they'll say Africa. They're not used to this correct name yet. But when they look at it, you're going to say, oh my goodness, 3 times. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much for that. What are some of the factors that made you like Uganda or want to stay in Uganda?
Oh, the people.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, the people. So wonderful, so friendly. When I first got here, one of the things I wanted to do, because I felt it in me, is I cried. You know, I'd seen people get off airplanes and kiss the ground and everything else, and I thought that's what I was going to do. But that's not what I did. I just wept. I wept, you know, because it was like I'm home. Wow. Everyone that I have met and each person that I meet greets me as though I'm their best friend or part of their family. You know?
Yeah.
We've brought many teams here.
Yeah.
Over the last 7 years, except for last year naturally because of COVID. But every team we've brought, when they land in the airport in Entebbe, they do the same thing. They start crying. Or they look around, and just something about touching the ground or touching the continent, period, just wells up inside of them. And they realize, this actually is my home. No matter how much I've denied it or turned my back on or disrespected it, this is actually part of me. And they recognize that, and that's when the weeping comes on. And for me, the people have been genuine. When I say genuine, they let you know certain things, good or bad. And when I looked at the people here, I just fell in love with them.
Wow. That's beautiful. Why do you think it's important for the people you left back in America, people of your descent and color and everything, your people, brown people, why do you think it's important for them to reconnect with Africa and like get in touch with their motherland?
Everyone should be in touch with their roots.
Yes.
You should know your origins. You know, if you know where you come from, you know where you're going.
Preach.
Yes.
It's important. It's very important. We teach that in our churches. We teach that in our schools, to know history. Everyone knows their history, and it's unfortunate that we as a people don't really know all of our history because it's been altered in so many ways. So many things that should have been told were not told or partially told. So therefore, we all are a bit confused about what the truth is.
True.
And it does help.
Yeah.
And you really don't know us. And we really don't know you.
Yes.
That's why Bridging the Gap is so important. That's why we started that ministry of Bridging the Gap. And we want it through the whole world. Whether it's through just religion is one thing. As missionaries, everybody think all we're supposed to do is preach, preach, preach. Yeah. Guess what? You babies here, you blessings, can preach us under a table. We don't need to come here and teach you how to preach. You know the Lord. We need to be here to let you be exposed to all of God's giftings, not just that you're just here for preaching. We started Bridging the Gap because of our intern. She just graduated from IUEA. Her name is Gloria.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm excited about that is because the year we got here, 2013, I got my husband lost. I sent him to the wrong place looking for something. And he ran into her father because he needed to go somewhere, along with our other partner, Santana, who's Hispanic.
Yeah.
And the 3 of them got together, asked, and the father said, oh, can you come to the church and minister at the church?
Yeah.
When we got to the church, we were all ministering. Everything was wonderful. We had an awesome good time.
Yeah.
But I kept looking at his daughter over there. I said, my goodness, she looks just like one of my children. They look so much alike. I even showed her the picture.
Yeah.
But she said to me, and she confessed, I told my father, you gonna let those black Americans preach at the church? You know what they say about black Americans. You're not gonna let them come in the church. Are you really gonna let them come in the church in the pulpit and preach? You know how hurtful that was? But she wanted us to know? Because, like you said, somebody or they told them lies about how we're thugs, how we're not educated, how we don't know how to do this, how we don't love you, how we don't care about you. How can we do all these things if we're not given an opportunity? Remember, the people here came over on a ship in shackles. They didn't come with a suitcase with recipes and background.
Yes.
So we've never had an opportunity to tell truth. But they keep telling lies about us, just like they tell lies about you. And when I say you, I'm talking about you as a person from Africa.
Yes.
We've heard more lies in the U.S., which is why Black Americans don't want to come here.
True.
Because they come out, I don't want to go there. They don't like us. They don't know truth. So Gloria actually ignited us to do something about bridging the gap between both sides.
Yes.
And that's how it has been running ever since.
Yeah.
And now she's our intern. She changed her last name to Freeman.
Wow.
And half the time we can't get her out of our house.
She now loves you.
She loves us and we love her to life.
Yes, that's so beautiful. You did mention you've had the privilege and the blessing to travel all around the world, to go to so many different countries, like you mentioned before. What's that one experience that what's that one thing that you experienced that stood out to you, that you saw that and was like, wow?
I was in the Afar region in Ethiopia.
Yes.
And I was underground among the Muslim families. And I saw the hurt among the ladies. I saw the lost among the men. I saw the children that weren't getting educated because of power and money and anger and hate. And it hurt me so bad because I wanted to do more. So that's why we started raising money for the different countries we went through, just to build schools.
Yeah.
We built the schools and we leave them there for them to take care of them, because it's not ours.
True.
But the education is the basis and the most important thing for every and anybody to go forth. True. Education is the basis for it. That's why God is always teaching us. More and more and more. You're never too old to learn.
Yes.
We're almost 70 years old. And we have
you don't
never
look
stopped
a day of
learning. We're learning from you. Today you tried to teach me how to use the pen on my phone. I don't know how to do that.
Yes.
Big deal. I have a PhD. Big deal. I have a doctorate. Big deal. I have degrees. But if we as a people can actually look at somebody else and say, hey, show me without being a pompous butt, we should be able to talk to you and look at you as a millennial that can help me and educate me.
That's true.
Yes.
Wow. Yes. That's really beautiful. I also want to hear of your experience. What's the one thing that you experienced and it really touched your heart?
What really touched my heart was to go out to one of the military camps and speak to the disabled veterans that are there. Those that have been out in battles and in wars and have come back maimed and hurt and just basically disenfranchised because these individuals are no longer taken care of because they're no longer viable to the mission of the Army. You know, and I was speaking about how to deal with issues. And at the time I had a small problem with my knee. I still do. But I was speaking about that and how my knee kind of bothered me a little bit, and I was speaking and I focused in on one gentleman that was sitting in a wheelchair. Little did I know that I was speaking to a gentleman with no legs. I then said, and I've said ever since then, I will never complain about the pain in my knee because I have met the man with no legs who was definitely appreciative of being happy to be alive, and his wife and his 4 children are standing by him regardless of his physical disability.
And that was here in Uganda at the military bases.
Oh, it's in Uganda?
Yes,
I thought that was abroad.
Yes,
Yes,
no, it
no,
was
here
in Uganda.
In Uganda.
Dr. Dixon is in charge of, at the time, before he got promoted, he was in charge of military.
The military, yes.
Under crew military. And we went with him to a couple of different bases. And we got the privilege of talking to those gentlemen and some ladies that were also military, along with their spouses. And it was so hard. Like my husband said, you just look at them and see the children. They're all happy and they're blessed. And my prayer is that the government will revamp to help them more than what they are able to or going to right now.
Yeah.
See, it's important for someone in the military, whether they're disabled or not, when you leave the military, you should have something to go to. You know, you have a life after that. You have a wife, you have children,
Family.
or you may be single.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is there a job to go to?
Yeah.
Is there an education program left for you so that when you come back into society,
There's
you are
something.
a viable part of your community.
Yes.
Instead of out there and having to live in poverty.
Yeah.
And with Bridging the Gap, that's one of our focuses. We have bullets of listing of what we want to do.
Yeah.
One of them is that we couldn't, like I said, last year, COVID, we couldn't do it. But one of the things we want to revisit to just give them an idea, how can we help you education-wise so that you can go further? How can we help the ladies do better with their families? That's part of Bridging the Gap. And what we want to do, and we've talked to people on the U.S. side, is bring those Black Americans here. No disrespect to any other nationality.
Yes.
But everybody does for their own. And that's fine. But we need to bring them back to this continent and pour their gifts back in. Because all those gifts that are in the U.S. came from Africans, from inventions of the
Traffic lights.
traffic light, to the iron board, to the filament and the light. That came from Africans. They didn't have the patent. They didn't get credit for it. But you're talking about over 300 plus inventions that were made up by Blacks. And even the first successful heart transplant, not the first one done. The first one was done by another country. I won't mention their name, failed. But the first successful one was done by a Black person.
Yes.
See, these are things that need to be put out, and we need to teach, educate, and work with them.
Yeah. Okay, that's so beautiful. I was talking to you before, and you mentioned something about the Western influence in Africa.
I'm sorry, did my head drop?
It's really something that you're passionate about. What can you tell our viewers about the Western influence in Africa?
How many of you watch Walking Dead?
On Netflix?
Or next level? How many of you watch all these nasty, negative things that are shown? We try to show our friends some positive movies, and they said not shown in this country. But you will come to a country that is trying to build themselves up, give the millennials something to strive for, and you got shows like Walking Dead or other things that are negative.
Yeah.
Where's all the positive? Besides all the church shows,
Yeah.
praise the Lord, which you all know about.
Amen.
Where are all the good, positive shows? Everything is now, even your soap operas have changed. You went from nice soap operas to one where people are cheating on each other. They're showing you bling bling. And they have a bad habit of showing the Black Americans as either ignorant or stupid, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all of those things. Or they show us not in a positive role. We don't all love sagging pants. I don't even understand why any man would want to wear sagging pants. Do you understand what sagging pants, where it came from? I'm going to let my husband talk to you about sagging pants because, gentlemen, if you're wearing sagging pants, you might not want to wear them anymore. And if you think it's important, it's not. But that's what you're seeing on TV, telling you to look a certain way, dress a certain way, ladies with their boobs hanging out, their butts hanging out. Really? That's who you are? That's how you define yourself, looking like a 2-cent hooker? You're worth more than that. God made you special. I'm passionate about the way women are carried. That's why we work with tourism, because we know what the young ladies can put out and the gentlemen that are behind it. But sagging pants, please tell them about sagging pants.
Sagging pants is not a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, when it first started out, rappers introduced it to the world.
Yeah.
But it first started as crisscross. Crisscross was the first thing. Wear your clothes backwards and everything else. So you had two young rappers that were out there that wore their clothes backwards. They needed another thing. They needed another gimmick. And up came sagging pants. Everybody says, well, sagging pants came from the prisons. Yes, they comes from the prisons because the men are not allowed to wear belts. So therefore, a lot of their clothes, and the fact that some of them don't eat an awful lot, their pants are going to sag on them. So their butt is going to be exposed. They use that also to indicate to other inmates that I am sexually available for you if that is what you want. But let's take this one step back further than the prison system. During slavery, if a slave, especially a male, if a slave acted out in any way, they would humiliate him by sexually assaulting him and then having him walk around the plantation or wherever he was with his pants sagging. To indicate to everyone, if you violate any of our rules, you do anything we don't want you to do, such as he did, this is what is going to happen to you. And a lot of times, those men were sexually violated in front of other people,
including their family.
It
was like a big party. Everybody came out to watch.
So it's not a good thing where gentlemen, to have their pants sagging. Well, it's just I'm showing a little bit of my underwear. Your underwear belong under your clothing,
not under here. Underwear.
They should not. It should not be revealed.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much. And I'm sure you've done a lot and so much, and you can't list down all your achievements, but I would really love it if you did list down the positive impact you've had on some Ugandans that you've met, the positive work you've done all around the world, in some African countries, wherever it is that you've done. Just help our viewers get, a picture of that.
Well, some of the things, what have we done? It's been so
that's what I say.
much.
I said it's a lot, but
it's
help
a
us summarize it.
A lot of things have been done with the schools. A lot.
Wow.
Help to influence them. Not so much bringing things there, but letting younger people know that it is possible to achieve some of the things that they believe in their hearts and in their minds that they want to achieve. Such as our intern, and I will use her as a perfect example. She had always wondered, she says, I do want to go to school. I want to further my education. I want to become something in life. Never under her wildest dreams did she ever believe that she would be introduced to two Black Americans that would assist her along that way. She not only was number 2 in her graduating class from secondary schools, in her senior levels, but when she got to college, she also excelled. She had 4.4 GPA, and she's graduating in the top 20 of her class.
Wow.
At IUEA.
With a business law degree.
In case they don't know, IU is International University of East Africa.
International University of East Africa. And she intends not only to take that bachelor's degree and further, she is going to become a lawyer.
Wow.
So she wants to excel and do more. Her brothers and sisters are the same way. She has one that is doing tourism and graduated several years ago.
Yeah.
She has another sister who's in the culinary business, and one who's graduating soon in accounting.
Yeah.
And so they're all moving forward, and a lot of it they say.
Yeah.
We have influenced them a lot based on some of the things that we have said and encouraged them to move forward. We do the same thing with our children back home.
Yeah.
And it's not all about the money.
Thank you.
It's about we pour into them verbally. We tell them truth. We show them facts. Everything we tell them, we show them. It's nothing we made up. The other accomplishment is that we were going from different areas in Ethiopia as well as into Kenya. We're building schools and supporting and helping schools get started. The great news is one area, like I was just talking about, didn't have a school outside the afar. I'm getting on a plane in IAD, which is the International Airport in Dulles, Virginia, Washington, to come back here to be the head judge for Miss Tourism.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I hear somebody saying, Mama Deborah, in the airport.
Yeah.
I turned around, I'm wondering what is going on. The young man behind the counter at Brussels Airport said, "That's Mama Deborah." And I looked at him, I said, "Oh my goodness." He told his boss, I have to take care of her. And he told everybody out there, this is the woman who helped build a school in my village. We didn't have a school.
Wow.
She left the school there. If it wasn't for her, I couldn't have finished school because we didn't have a school.
Yeah.
And when he said that and I recognized who he was, I said, oh my goodness. To see that you just don't know what little bit you did influence. And you know why else that school was important?
Why?
It wasn't our money.
Wow.
I taught at a Christian school because, like I said, my husband and I both did military time. My husband did 20 years in the Air Force. I did 22 in the Army. When we retired, we're school teachers. The school where I taught at had almost 300 students. They are the ones that took all their money for me to bring to that school to build it. And we named it after the pastor's wife, Mommy Dot Academy. That was built by children. Don't tell me children can't be influential because they can make a difference. We're talking about 1st through 8th grade. This is not high school. As a matter of fact, K-5.
What?
5-year-olds to 13-year-olds raised all those thousands of dollars to build that school. Not us, the children.
Yeah.
That's the same pride that can be put here with these children.
Yes.
My granddaughter said, I want to do something for the children. She gave up all her clothes and shoes before I came here to bring back because she wanted to pour back into kids. That's bridging the gap. I'm going to keep on using those words. Bridging the gap. If we don't start talking and doing for each other instead of just looking out for ourselves, we'll never get ahead because that's not the God we serve. If he felt that way, Jesus would have never came down.
That's true. And talking about the positive impact, when we're coming and waiting for Amy
to
open
babies.
for us, the little babies, they're like, well, we're not sure this was your house. So is this Dr. Deborah's house? Like, yes, Dr. Deborah. Like the excitement to hear your name just shows that you are treating these kids outside really well. They were so happy to say your name.
Those are my babies.
Yeah.
The 4 of them, they are so sweet.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that they're important. I make sure they know every day. Every time I see them, hey, beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, gorgeous.
I see what you call
Hello,
Amy.
my blessings.
Yes.
I want them to know they are important and they are something. And they're not just here for no reason. I want them to know they can use their brains.
Yes.
I want to know their beauty is not outside. It's within. Because you got a lot of pretty people that stink inside. When Miss Tourism was here for the finale and the young ladies were here for boot camp and working with me, those young ladies took those little young ladies, put their crowns on them, talked to them, let them know how important it was, and to let them know that their future is not dictated on how gorgeous they are, because it's beauty, brains, and change. Not beauty, boobs, and curves, gentlemen. We need to get away from that.
Yeah.
Because we are not the dizzy blondes. We're not stupid. You asked me a question earlier about women in the Bible.
Yeah.
Guess what? My name is Deborah. She was a heck of a judge in the Bible in Judges.
Yes.
God never said just men. For all you preachers, God bless you. But he said neither male nor female. He used the donkey. He didn't say it was a male or female donkey, but he used the donkey. He put giftings in all of us to use.
Wow. It's a word. It's like I feel like you're preaching to me. Before we do anything, can you tell us a bit about the tourism industry that you're doing, the tourism pageants that you're doing in Uganda?
Tourism pageants are so wonderful.
Yeah. Or before we get anywhere, you're on the executive board.
We are the national executive directors.
Okay.
For Miss Tourism Uganda.
All right.
And we have the pleasure of working with the CEO, which is Alan, who is also the son of Minister Maria Montagama, who passed away a couple years ago.
Yes.
When she restarted it back up about, I think, 8 or 9 years ago.
Yes.
But it's a beautiful thing that she decided to make sure young ladies not only get this, but they get entrepreneurship.
Yes. It's very wonderful that we're able to do that because young women around the world need to be recognized for what their abilities are. So here in Uganda, as the Honorable Maria Mutagamba often said, I want to build these young ladies up so that people recognize who they are and their intended purpose in life. Not just to be mothers, not just to be,
wives.
Not just to be wives, And believe me, there are a lot of beautiful women here in Uganda of all ages, But it's the beauty of your mind, the things that you have the ability to do. So it's like our present queen right now. She's a fashion designer, and she has this candid ability to be able to look at something and transform it into other things. The way she handles her relationships with people, talking with them instead of to them.
Wow.
She actually takes the time to get to know the person. All 5 of the young ladies who competed and who have a position in the Miss Tourism, they're very passionate about where they come from and how they are projecting what they represent as far as Uganda is concerned, from the 5 regions that they're from.
We call them Team BBC. and I got to say this. Beauty is not, you have to be skinny mini or look like you're starving yourself. One of our young ladies and the gentlemen have learned this. We're not going to say they're fat anymore. We're not going to say they're big. They're a plus size. There are a lot of women that are going to always be a plus size. You're going to have some that's slim. You're going to have some that's a plus size. And you got some in between. But you never take away from them and make them feel like, ooh, you're a plus size. You can't be the queen. Why? Why not? Well, this young lady, she carried herself. She's gorgeous, in and out. And when she walked out, because we taught everybody to say plus size, she even changed her attitude because she knew now I'm a plus size. And I look good in what I am, and I'm representing Uganda.
Yes. It's so beautiful, guys. This was such a beautiful, beautiful interview. Any last remarks? Any last words to your people? Like, just look into the camera and tell them.
My prayer is that you all will understand that what has happened in the past and what some people did to take over this continent as well as this country was never God's plan. It's totally out of order. He never birthed us here to be slaves. And slavery can start with the mind as well as the body. But if we learn, we can stop being slaves. We have the right to learn. My husband will tell you and closes out with the fact that there was a reason why things are going on this continent. And it actually carried over into U.S. because even our Christians did it. They made a comment about if you are a Christian, we need to make the African feel that being Christians, you're supposed to be poor and humble. That's not true. Nowhere does it say that in the Bible. But he will tell us about why it's wrong.
Okay.
In religion, we are taught in theology school that, we go out and we preach, we evangelize and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. But there was, a document that was presented, or should say, we have founded. One of our young ladies who was here with tourism found this document done by Belgians back in the 1700s, the 1800s, that said that the Belgians actually put a document out stating what they wanted to do and speak to other evangelists about what they should be doing as far as our Christian life and our spiritual way of doing things. They stated that they want to make sure that they did not share with us as a people, Africans, so to speak, the beauty and the advantages of riches in the world. Make sure that we talk them into being humble and complacent and comfortable in their poverty. Jesus loves those who are humble and complacent and stays in their place. Don't share with them the beauty and the things that are offered to them while they're here on earth. But let me take you to another document that was placed in, that was retracted years later.
Yeah.
It says, this was by Lord Macaulay, a politician with the British government, and he was saying this to Parliament. He says, I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen the person who is a beggar, or in all thieves such as wealth I have seen in the country. Such high immoral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we would ever conquer the country unless we break the very backbones of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage, and therefore I profess that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture, for the African to think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own. They will lose their self-esteem, that native culture, and they will become whatever we want them to become, and there will be truly a dominated nation. Now, that was stated in Parliament on the 2nd of February in 1835. That statement has been on social media since 2015. I have been following that statement and this document ever since that time that it came out in 2015. Last year, 2020, there was a retracted statement in Facebook that said that none of this, what I'm saying, is true.
How many years later?
But this, 185 years later, they want to retract the statement. And they said that this message has, since 2015, has been stated outwardly in Nigeria, Kenya, and Uganda. As far as Uganda is concerned, I know that it's a possibility that I'm probably the one that has disseminated it, because it is on our website.
Yes.
We've also put it out.
And I've also put it out. I put it out every opportunity I have there.
And we have partners in Nigeria. We have partners in Kenya.
Wow.
Based on that attitude and things that happened then, is part of what continues to happen. Our culture has been altered. Our education system has been decimated. Things have been turned around. You know, the word history. Realize that we have been learning his story, not ours. Most of our history has eventually made it to a book, but as a people, our stories have always been told around the family gatherings and by our elders. That's how we have learned as a people. That is part of our culture as a people. Has not necessarily been written down, but as it has been documented, it has been documented by the wrong individuals or in the wrong way, and has not been presented to the public the way it should be. Not only here on the continent of Alkebulan, but also in America.
Wow. And editor will put an applause right there. That's so beautiful. And unfortunately, we have to come to the end of this episode. So we just wave to the camera. Bless you. All right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. Please, and I say please, because this episode was really touching. I must say, I've learned a lot, and I hope every viewer out there learned something from this, because like you said we keep learning and you keep finding out new things about this world and everything else. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, pause and subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Kenganda. Follow us on all our social media platforms, Kenganda Nation on Instagram, Kenganda Nation on Facebook. And in case you want to know more about this lovely couple, we're going to leave all the links in the description box. You can talk to them, check out their website in case you want to do do some work with them, whatever it is that you want to do, you can actually get to access them. Now, my name is Janita. Till next time.